Welcome to Midlife Women Entrepreneurs, where you'll find real stories, practical strategies, and the mindset shifts you need for entrepreneurship. If you've ever felt like midlife was too late to launch a business, write a book, or chase a dream, think again. I'm Lynette Turner, your host, and I'm bringing you inspiring conversations and practical tips to help nudge you forward and keep growing in midlife. So let's jump in. All right. Well, I have Joel Miller here for Midlife Women Entrepreneurs. First and foremost, Joel, you're not a woman and you're definitely not in midlife, but you are totally relatable to midlife women who probably have millennial kids. You're going to give us a little bit of a background on who you are, the businesses that you're starting, and the entrepreneurial spirit that you have. And we're going to twist that into how parents can help their millennial kids get into entrepreneurship. So before we go into that, why don't you give yourself a little bit of an introduction and then we'll take it from there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Joel. I am CEO and founder of Flames Financial Planning. We are a membership subscription-based financial planning firm that allows you for an affordable price to get your investments, planning, tax filing, and estate planning done walking through life with a professional. So I am so excited to share my stories, my entrepreneurship spirit, and I can't wait to motivate you to help make more businesses here in America.
Before we get into like how we can help other midlife women, tell us a little bit more about your business. Like, how did you get started?
I love this because I've always had an entrepreneurship spirit. I take this back to when I was in high school. I started a Facebook page. This was when Facebook didn't really know what they were doing. Facebook pages had just came out. So I went to a Chicago Blackhawks game because I'm originally from Chicago. I'm a big diehard fan. I made a Hawks page and I started posting as if I was the real Chicago Blackhawks. And they didn't have a page at the time. This was before social media, like before every company had their own social media page. This was before influencers. And people thought I was the official Blackhawks. So it grew and grew and grew.
Okay.
And I made it so realistic. I wanted people to believe and I wanted people to follow because it was so realistic. And that's what I did. So fast forward, I had 200,000 followers. I quit my job at Subway so I could watch every single Blackhawks game. I would post. I got to go through some of the coolest life experiences. I got to meet players. I got to get autographs and pictures. I worked with companies, restaurants, Fathead, and all of these incredible life experiences. So from very early on, I had this spirit within me to be a business owner, to be unique and do cool things. So that taught me so many lessons to even coming in and starting this business. Over my career, I've worked for incredible employers that taught me a lot, but all that was really doing was shaping and preparing me for this moment to launch a business to change thousands of lives across America. So that Facebook page, it taught me lessons, and I took that into my college years, into my career. I worked for incredible employers that helped me figure out what I wanted to do for the long term. So I got my CFP, I became a financial advisor, and what that was doing, it was shaping, preparing me, and giving me the knowledge to take into the real world. So I'm very grateful that I learned those lessons early. I went through those experiences. I had success, I had failures, and that's how I was able to do what I can today, is because I started early and I was not afraid of failing. So launching my own business, I looked for a need. I looked at for something that didn't exist today. How can I fill a gap of something that is so powerful and so necessary in today's day and age?
So your Flame Financial is a subscription-based service. I personally have never heard that before, so let's go into it a little bit. What is that model? How did you come up with that model? Is it working? Who's your target client?
Yeah, it's absolutely working. We are watching a changing of the guards right in front of our eyes. Right now, 90% of financial advisors charge something called a percentage of assets. The typical relationship looks like you hand over 500,000, $1 million or more, and a financial advisor would love to help you with the investment management and the financial planning aspect of your life. But what that stops is a lot of people from getting access to a CFP. Most often, historically, younger people can't even get access to a CFP if they even wanted to because they don't have enough to hand over. So there's this amazing change in the industry where we're working towards 10% of financial planners do a flat fee basis, or otherwise a subscription that we all know and love of. similar to a gym or similar to your
Mhm.
phone. If you're an active paying member, you get access to everything. Something that I feel so strongly about is there shouldn't be these add-ins and purchases and oh gotchas, you're going to have to pay more later on. It's one price if you're single or joint. And while you're an active member, we're walking through life together. You have unlimited access to your CFP, your financial planner. So whether it's a small question or a big question, we are so excited to have hundreds and then thousands of active members someday. We're not there yet. We're
Yeah.
new to market. We started December 1st, and it is so fun to watch this grow and this fire ignite right in front of our eyes.
I love it because I even think about when I was in my mid 20s, there wasn't a lot of information. In this day and age, where are these kids getting any kind of advice? They're watching some guy
TikTok.
on, just somebody on Instagram or TikTok. Oh, that's 5 stocks I would be investing in, and they're not really educated. That's such a terrible thing. So I really love what you're doing. And it's a relatable subscription model. It's like the Netflix of financial planning. So really
Exactly.
well
It should be
done. Really well done.
affordable. It should be usable. And like that's what if you make enough money and if you want someone that you could trust, I think of it very similar to a financial accountability partner, right? If you go to a gym and you hire a physical trainer, what is their job? While
Yeah.
you're paying them, it's to keep you accountable, help you set goals, and reach limits that you never knew were possible. So we're very similar in that way. And I love that you brought up Instagram and social media because I saw another need there. People are getting either wrong information or bad information. So you said, no, I'm not going to let this happen anymore. So that's why I post information on my YouTube and Instagram, Joel Miller Finance. You can go follow me for short form content so that it's like, all right, I trust this person and I want to hear what they have to say. So let's raise the level, let's raise the bar, raise the floor of financial literacy because that's what we need to do.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. So, Joel, many of my listeners are parents of 20 or 30 somethings, right? They have this sort of, I wish my kid knew that 9 to 5 golden handcuffs are actually not something that they should be doing. Or, you know what? Everybody should have a side hustle of some sort. So what do you think in terms of mindset shifts? Do you think that midlife parents need to make to support their entrepreneurial thinking in their kids?
I love this question. And I think it starts with curiosity. What does your kid enjoy doing? What's fun for them? What's crazy most days is most kids want to grow up to be like a YouTuber or like a video game streamer. So that's just really interesting. How do we deal with that? If you didn't play video games growing up, like it's kind of hard to relate to with your kids. But if they love doing something, if they find joy in that process, can they make money off of it? Support them in that. Ask questions. I never could have done what I did with my business in high school if it wasn't for my parents. One of the opportunities I had was to drive to Ohio and speak at a college. Tiffin University reached out to me and asked if I could speak to the business class there. And I didn't even have my driver's license. So my parents drove with me. They drove me to Ohio to speak to this business class. So that's like one of the opportunities that I would have never had. And guess who I went to the game with? I went with my dad to this Chicago Blackhawks game. So it's about one, doing life with your kid. Two, it's about making memories with them. And three, be curious. Ask them questions. It's really hard. Put down your phone, tell your kid to put down their phone, and have a conversation around ask them questions. One of the things that I always think about is I call it Joelism, something that I think about that is not a true fact, that I think the older person, if it's a one-on-one conversation, I think it's the job and the role of the older person in that situation to ask proactive questions.
Mhm.
If you don't, it's going to be a lot harder for the teenager or your kid to ask you questions. So I think it's your responsibility as the older adult to be curious and learn about them or whatever they're enjoying doing. So I know there was a lot in there, but I think we just got
No,
to get back to a time where it's like, hey, what do you want to do? And you can do anything. You can do anything that you put your mind to.
exactly. And I feel like what you were saying there is like how parents can help invest, not just money, into their kids, but into their kids' business dreams. And that's, just sitting there supporting. And I know that a lot of parents would say, no, you got to go to college, you got to go and get that degree. Okay, so let's say there is a parent out there that has a kid who has 10,000 followers on YouTube. They've got this passion, they're working it. Meanwhile, the parent is thinking, oh my God, this YouTube thing, what happens if it shuts down? So what would you say to a parent that is kind of pushing the kid down this university path?
This is really hard. So this is a great question because I don't think there's any perfect answer. All we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to do is do the best that we can with the resources and knowledge that we have. So one, do your best. I think it's very wise to diversify yourself. I even can think of a literal example of a full-time video game player on Twitch, which is where you stream video games. And in his time off when he wasn't streaming, he was going to school. So that way he has an option. If option A ever shuts down, I know what I'm going to do. I know what my option B is. So if it's something that scares you or if it's something that you're unsure about, just help your kid or help that person set up other options without pushing them away too much because it is a really hard balance of I think of it of like trying sports as a young person or like with young kids. You almost want to put them in a lot of different things so that you can see what do you like, what do you not like,
Yeah.
maybe what are you naturally good at. And I would do the same thing with careers. Introduce them to a lot of different areas so they become good at a lot of different things and then they have options for themselves because it is definitely possible if that option A shuts down, what is option B? You can't be out of options. Hopefully you have your next best thing that you could start working on. I would say don't push away a dream or a talent of your child because maybe you don't understand it. This is a
Yeah,
big
that's really
opportunity where
good.
you can actually go into what they love and what they enjoy. We see this so often, and I actually say this as a gamer. I've played video games my entire life, and it's something that I'm very passionate about because it's a way for me to connect with my old friends, people that I can't see anymore, people I'm not physically close to anymore in location. This is an opportunity where parents could actually learn and dive into that area because it's something their kids enjoy. So you could use it as a bonding experience instead of something that's pulling you apart. Try to bring it to something that you guys do together and you can continue to share those experiences on. It's hard though, because a lot of the generation right above mine did not grow up with the same access to video games or Netflix or YouTube or streaming services or Twitch. It's hard when you didn't grow up with that, but then your kid was all into that.
So Joel, what's been your challenges? I think about, you're a younger entrepreneur. I mean, obviously you're very motivated, you got really great energy, but there's got to be some mindset stuff that happens to you where you're thinking, "Oh my God," just to that point. How is this going to work? And, how do you keep yourself in the right mindset to keep building your business?
Yeah, I view it as a fail is not always the worst thing that could happen. I view a fail as a first attempt in learning. It was an
Mhm.
opportunity to grow. I found out what doesn't work, right? I think of there's like a saying about Thomas Edison that he found 1,000 ways on how to not make a light bulb, right? I don't even know if that's a true statement that I've never fact checked, but I know that's a
Yeah.
famous saying, and I love the message that it gets across is what's the worst case scenario? It doesn't work out and I learned and I grew and maybe a new idea is born from that. Some of my favorite things is sitting down and having a brainstorming session by yourself or with other people because you never know what the outcome is going to be. So, I had fails? Absolutely. Could I have done things better? Absolutely. But all of that made me stronger and made me a better entrepreneur than I was before that exercise.
Okay, that's good. And so, Joel, what would you say to that person? They're in a 9 to 5 right now. They've taken their degree, they found the job, and maybe they are thinking about doing a bit of a side hustle. What would you say to them?
Let your like don't let it be a dream. Go after if you're passionate about it, if you believe in it and you know you can do it, put in the work that it's going to take and give it a try. Again, what's the worst case scenario? So put your best foot forward. Trust me, I am never and I will never be the smartest person in a room. But that's not what it's about. It's about trying and being the hardest worker. If you look at any of my past or any of my college experiences or any of the tests that I've taken or any of the businesses that I've run, I've never been the smartest person from like a book perspective, but I that's why I love street smarts. That's why I
Mhm.
love effort. That's why I love attitude and being joyful and having a good positive spirit. Because those are some of the things that you can control. I can always try to read more. I can always try to educate myself more. I can try to listen to more people. But what it comes down to is like your character. Who you are at your core is going to have a much bigger impact than like a standardized test score that you could take, in my opinion.
Right. And so what would you say to them about getting started? Maybe they don't even have an idea. They just want to start some sort of side hustle. Where would you lead them to even just thinking through the ideas?
Yeah, I would say do something that you like, do something that you enjoy. So that way it's like a passion project and you don't feel like you are wasting your time. It might be successful, but if you're not even enjoying it, then I don't think that it will ever hit its fullest, highest ceiling that it could possibly hit. So what do you like doing? What do you enjoy doing? What brings you joy is and dig deeper into that. Can I make a business out of that? And I think it starts with like your normal job too, right? So something that I think of like myself, I think of Mark Cuban is you're doing the best in the place that you are, but you saw an opportunity gap in that space specifically. So that's how I got here today. I was at a previous startup. I was there for 3.5 to 4 years, and I saw a gap in the market. I saw a business opportunity where I had a a business idea that was different enough that I could go execute on. I think that's like where it could easily start from is what are gaps in your current job that you wish you could fill? If you were the CEO of your company, what would you do differently? And that's how I built this whole business model and this whole idea off of, oh, well, if I was running this business, this is what I would do.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I was able to go and actually do it.
And so how did you test the idea? So you obviously didn't go, hey, I've got this idea. There's this gap. I'm just going to go for it. Were you running on two sides of the fence kind of thing? Were you still in your full-time job as,
I had to fully quit my job and trust and believe in myself enough to break free and know that it's going to be successful. So, in my world where things are more compliance heavy and tracked, I was not able to do that. So, I had to quit cold turkey, launch my business, and just trust in the process. If you're in a space where you can do that, absolutely go do that. Go work at your job from 9 to 5 and do this second job from 5 to 9. One of my favorite things is watching Shark Tank, and you hear all the time what one of the questions that the sharks always ask is, "Have you quit your job yet?" Like, "Oh, you have the
right?
business plan, you have the numbers," and that's one of the two questions they ask the most are like, "What are your numbers? Are you profitable? What revenue are you making?" And well, why haven't you quit your other job yet? If this is working, why aren't you going all in and doing this full time? So but a lot of those entrepreneurs, most people that have businesses and do that, it probably started as a hobby, then it became a
Mhm.
side hustle, then wow, we're really making money. So then what do you do from there? You have to decide, am I going to go all in and believe in this, or is this always just going to be like a side hustle for me?
Exactly. And so what part of your business do you like the most?
The relationships by far.
Mhm.
Getting conversations like this, seeing those light bulb moments for people, teaching them something that they never knew before. At my core and at my heart, I'm just a teacher. And I get to spend time with adults all day, every day, teaching them about life changing subjects that hopefully they're passing on that knowledge to someone else. I have a fun combination of where I get to fish and feed them, but I also get to teach them how to fish. I'm not just doing things for you. Sometimes I am, but oftentimes I'm teaching you what I'm doing. One of the analogies that I like to use is, hey, we're both in the car together. I have control of the steering wheel, but you're in the passenger seat. We are on a journey together, going forward, and we get to have fun conversations along the way.
So think back to when you were in your early 20s, maybe even late teens. What would you have wanted to hear from your parents about entrepreneurship, especially when you were probably on this trajectory of going to university or college? But what could a parent say to a child right now about becoming an entrepreneur, especially if the parent isn't an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I would say it's easier today than ever before. We have more resources, we have more training, we have more technology. It's only getting easier to be an entrepreneur. And I would say equip yourself, go find a business mentor. If it's not something that the parent can pour into their child, they probably know an entrepreneur that could. They probably know someone that could then pour into their child. So I would say don't let your dreams be dreams. How can I walk through this with you? How can I assist you? How can I help this with you? And I might be there, especially as a parent. I'm going to be there for you if you fall, if you fail, if you don't see the success you are looking for. Everyone needs that person they can go to. For me, it's my wife. My wife not only has her psychology degree, but absolutely is my therapist when if it's like a good moment, a hard moment, my favorites, like something I can be happy about, something I can be sad about. She is my rock and my foundation. The Lord Jesus Christ is as well, but my wife is
Yeah.
right there to help me talk through some of these things. Some of the best conversations we've ever had are just about like brainstorming, like I talked about earlier. And when your kid is in their upper teens or low 20s, you might have to be that person for them. But what's so cool is then you can fast forward and look back at some of those conversations you had and say, I would have never gotten here if it wasn't for that moment.
Yeah, no, that's great. So Joel, what would you start what like when you're talking about you've got your YouTube channel and your social media channels and you're, providing sort of insights. What are your top five that you always go for, regardless of age? If I'm 25 or I'm 55, what would you say would be really good sort of financial planning strategies?
Yeah, I think some of the best financial planning strategies are start early, be consistent, and don't expect massive results at the very beginning. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And you need to work from the foundation up, just like you build a house. So you need to have your emergency fund set up. You need to have proper cash flow methods set up. Decrease your spending, increase your income, utilize the correct accounts and the correct investment products for you. And if you can't do this, go get professional help. I think a lot of people wait too long because they don't want to pay that extra price. We need to know if we don't have the time, willingness, or ability to do something on our own, then it's time to either go get equipped or go pay someone to help keep you equipped, right?
Mhm.
So those are some of the things that I think of. I want to, I hope that someday financial planning and financial literacy is in every single middle school. I hope it's
Oh,
in
yeah.
every single high school, every single college and university, because we will continue to keep making these same mistakes until we eventually learn it
Yeah.
earlier. So 59% of Americans would not be able to afford a $1,000 emergency. What are we
Yeah.
doing? We've
Mhm.
got to fix that. That's got to be better. We've got to make that a better percentage because if we can't afford $1,000 emergency, how in the world are we going to hit our 3 month emergency fund? How are we going to hit our retirement goals or anything else if we can't even think far enough advance for like something like when your car breaks down or your refrigerator stops working?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So Joel, where do people find you?
If you love what you heard today and you want to learn more about a membership, I would love to meet you. One, I'm so proud of every single person listening today because that means you want to make a difference. You either want to go start a business, you want to equip your kids to start a business. And I think that is the most healthy way to think about this. Or maybe you just want to excel and you love to learn and you want to be the best person that you can or the hardest worker. If you are interested in being a member at Flames Financial Planning, you can go to flamesfp.com. You can jump on my calendar for a complimentary free meeting because I just want to say hello and I'd love to get to know you. If maybe a membership isn't right for you today, but you just love what you heard today, then feel free to follow me on social medias, Instagram and YouTube, Joel Miller Finance, where I can just continue to teach you and equip you and set you up or others for a best chance of success so you can strive for financial freedom.
Awesome. Joel, you're amazing. I also think that you should start a bit of a side hustle on coaching millennials into entrepreneurship. So that could be your next gig as well.
I love it. We got to motivate people.
Don't you know, I think you might agree, you need 6 sources of income streams, so that could be another one for you.
Yeah. And just like
So,
another tidbit of wisdom, it's not too late. I hear this all the time. Well, like, how am I doing? How do I compare to other people? Like, oh, well, if I could go back 10 years ago, I would have done it way differently. The best day to plant a tree was yesterday. Today is the second best day. So it's
yeah.
not too late. Stop using that as an excuse. Get off the couch, get started, because you'll be amazed what you can do when you put your mind to it, but you have to start somewhere.
No, that's great. Joel, you've been amazing. I think you gave a lot of really great information. I do have one last question for you. What did you end up doing with your YouTube channel for the Chicago Blackhawks?
So this is actually an insane finish to the story. I'm so glad you asked. So my Facebook page, I was running it. I ran it for 4 years all by myself. I never put a dollar into advertising, and I was able to pay for my entire college from the revenue that I made from this business. So long story short, I didn't diversify myself. I went all in on Facebook, and that's something that I messed up. I should have had other platforms. I should have done other things, but I didn't know. And I didn't equip myself with mentors or people that could assist me with that. So ultimately, I saw the direction that Facebook was going. They were lowering the organic reach of what a post or a picture would go to. So pictures and posts that used to go to hundreds of thousands or millions of people were now getting shrunk because Facebook were like, we want a cut of that. So
Yeah.
they started lowering the organic reach. Facebook started exploding and making money off of business owners. And now that's all about boosting your stuff, like paying money to have your stuff be seen. I got to witness all of that very firsthand. So fast forward, I was doing the business for just over 4 years, and I decided it was time to sell the business. My entire college friend group went out for a fun night. I stayed back to go through a business sale that I was executing. Come to find out, everything was fake. The agreements were fake. The numbers were fake. I handed over my business for free, made no money off of it, all because I messed up. So I lost this entire business and it was gone in 1 second.
Oh
The
my
last
God.
4 years, everything that I had built, all the memories, all the experiences, that was the end of the story. It sounds sad, but it was the best thing that ever happened in my life because I would not be here today if it wasn't for that. So I view it as a positive experience, and it changed the rest of my entire life. But the ending itself came to a different ending than what I was expecting.
Okay, well, geez, that's a crazy story, crazy story. And that's exactly it. The shysters out there, it's terrible, terrible. Got to really be watching
You
for
got to be
sure, right?
careful. There are people who are
Yeah,
really smart out there who might not have the same best interest at heart as you. So be careful out there, but use it as motivation. There's a lot of people
yeah,
that would say, well, the rest of my life is ruined. I gave away everything that I had built up. I lost this entire business. For me, I view not only the glass as half full, but if there's water in it, then it's overflowing, right?
yeah.
So you can always look at a certain situation in a lot of different ways. And we all have different characters and different personalities that would view something different. But if I just continue to hold a grudge against that person, one, I've forgiven that person. I don't hold it against that person from stealing the business away from me. But you need to learn how to move past a difficult moment in life. Because if I was holding a grudge or if I was just disappointed in myself, that's not going to help me move forward. I can take that and I can run with it and be a better person today because of that.
Amazing. There is no doubt in my mind that we're going to see you in the big lights somewhere. So keep going. You're an amazing person. Thank you for reaching out to be on the show. I'm so happy that we connected. And thank you again for your time today.
It was my pleasure. Thank you to everyone that listened today.
Hey, it's Lynette. Thanks for listening today. Please like and subscribe. And if there's somebody out there that you think could benefit from the episode, give it a share. Midlife is your time, so go get it.